Hello, welcome to this episode of Connecting Cowichan, and today we are going to be discussing the topic of carving. And this is a traditional art form that has been around for generations. And today I have a very special guest. His name is Herb Rice. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, Herb.
Hello, my name is Herb Rice. I'm part from Cowichan and part from Snuneymuxw. I've been here at Whippletree Junction in my studio for 14 years. Actually, this is my 14th year now. I've been carving as an artist since 1987. When I learned to begin with, I had I guess 1 year in Nanaimo with a master carver, one of a Quagulth or Kwakwakiwak artist
Oh, yeah.
named Alfred Robertson. When I finished that year, I had a second year where I was in Vancouver. I just met my then girlfriend and we were living together. I ended up spending the year carving with my cousin, Glenn Edwards, in Musqueam.
Oh, yeah.
He's in Penelakut now.
Yeah.
I think he's into social development for youth and adults.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I've met him a couple of times. I believe I played soccer with his son back when I was a teenager. So I know who Glenn is. He's a very good family friend.
So I've had 38 years as a carver artist.
As a carver?
2 years I was just working with the masters. And after that I just started on my own, and it took me another 3 years to develop into a quality carver.
Fair enough.
I did well. I'm a salesman, a storyteller. I like telling stories. We have, as Indigenous people, especially if you're from around here, there's a lot of stories that our people, our elders, our ancestors related to us, right from the beginning of time till now.
Yeah.
And every one of them has a portrayal, either in masks or talking sticks or totem poles. I say we didn't have totem poles here, but we did have house posts.
Yeah.
We did have items that represented our families. I've always had an interest in that.
The history there?
Yeah, doing that because I was able to relay it later on when I'm marketing my art.
For sure. And one question that I did have was how have you seen the changes in the art form from when you started in comparison to today?
It's a really sad situation for the bigger part of it. When I first started carving and selling my work, I was getting a reasonable dollar for my works. And I could do a small, like a 16 or 20 inch wall hanging, wall plaque.
Yeah.
And they would sell for between $50 and $100. And that was a wholesale price. And that was per piece, but the buyer, usually one of the gift shops or galleries, would have to buy anywhere between 5 and 15 pieces from you. So you'd get paid fully in cash for all of that work.
Right.
Then you wouldn't have to go anywhere else. That worked well for several years, and then over a period of time that shifted. And it became a time when the gift shop owners would purchase the artwork in the winter time.
Oh, really?
And they'd pay a whole lot less for it. So for $100 piece, they might pay $35.
Oh, yeah.
But in the summertime, they'd still sell it for
over
$200.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a difficult thing because a lot of the carvers were getting sort of ripped off. But they're hungry.
And it's that supply and demand aspect where it's like the time of year is actually important because we live in a very tourism driven economy during the summer, and people come here to see our artwork, and I could see how that is very disheartening for sure.
Yeah, it is. So that changed the style of carving. And I've noticed it. And like when I first started carving, I still do the same style I did before.
Mm-hmm.
It's deep relief, it's full shape, it's texturing, it's a good quality work.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't sell to gift shops or galleries anymore.
Fair.
And I haven't for 20 years.
Fair.
Um,
Where, like, what is the sort of vision you have for the art form for say for 50 years down the road from now? Where do you see it going in that time?
that's quite a jump.
It is.
But since the 50s, when Mungo Martin came out for the Kwakwaka'wakw people, northern Vancouver Island, they opened up the Royal BC Museum, and he had a place called Thunderbird House
Mm-hmm.
as a key caretaker of the totem poles that the museum took from the people.
Mm-hmm.
So he was looking after them. That was the only reason they could take them.
Right.
With our people, there's a whole different thing coming up. I mean, our connection
Mm-hmm.
with the land, the region around us, is our homes.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts when I see our people living in the modern homes, and there are so many families in one small home.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, our people lived in a longhouse. They looked after each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody went hungry. Nobody was cold. Nobody had to sleep out in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real environment that our people established for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that allowed that to continue were the master carvers and artists of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They knew how to choose the trees. They knew how to split the trees into planks.
Mm-hmm.
They knew how to take specific trees and watch the tree grow
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, that one's now ready for a canoe.
Mm-hmm.
They would cut that down and make a canoe out of it. And it would be the master carver, and the master carver would have many helpers. And those helpers would come from families who actually gave a whole lot to the master carver in his school.
Mm-hmm.
It was his school.
Yeah.
They made sure that that school was kept going.
Mm-hmm.
So the master carver would have to teach. That's what he did in several different areas, in canoe carving and plank making and home building and
Mm-hmm.
box making, bending, stuff like that. Tribes, organizations were dependent on the programs that were designed and developed by non-native people
Mm-hmm.
and brought into our region and told that this is what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
And our people aren't used to stepping up and saying no.
Mm-hmm.
There were leaders that were doing that, but not every one of our people could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that education is good.
Mm-hmm.
My father really pushed that. And his mother and father pushed that, and his grandma pushed that.
Yeah.
Right back to the beginning when Caucasian people first started coming here,
Mm-hmm.
get an education.
And that's definitely something that I've heard reiterated quite frequently, because my grandma Ruby and my grandma Dolores were both very like focused on and would always encourage furthering education. And like whenever I would go visit, it would be, "Are you still in school? Are you working?" And And I always appreciated the question because I would get to sit and have a very good conversation about education and work and in later years my family. So that was definitely a good way to connect for sure.
Yeah. One of my late aunties raised a family of some really good kids, great kids, my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They were the White family in Nanaimo. And when the last one grew up and left home, she went to school.
Oh, really?
She got her degree in linguistics, like a lot of elder ladies did at that time.
Mm-hmm.
They went to school and they got their degrees in linguistics, and they started pushing it and doing language programs, which is still really important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak the language. I speak some of it,
Yeah.
some of the formal language that you hear here in the Longhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I can listen and I can understand what they're saying, but not really talk back to them in our language.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
It
'Cause
is.
I didn't grow up around it.
Mm-hmm.
The late aunties were really good in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But even before then, they were fierce. They
Yeah.
pushed. Like I see pictures on Facebook being posted by different relations with elders, and I look at those elders and I know that those elders stood up and they didn't hold anything back.
Mm-hmm.
James, get over there right now, clean up. It was fierce
Exactly.
and loud. They made sure that you heard them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said, okay, auntie, or okay, grandma, or
Yeah. Yeah.
right from a young age. I mean, they didn't beat you or anything like that. They just fiercely told you.
Yeah. They were very stern
Yeah.
and
I would like it if our young, even at home, started studying art.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
Art is difficult. It's hard. Even carving a piece of wood is difficult. I've spent days with different students of different ages, and some of them don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a difficult time doing it. But eventually they get something happening,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a sense of pride in that. Like, I can teach a 2-day workshop and get somebody carving reasonably well by the end of the 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I spent 2 years working with 2 master carvers, and then 3 years after that evolving it
Mm-hmm.
to my own standard. So it's like a university education.
Yeah.
You spent 5 years in university becoming a professional at
Mm-hmm.
what you do. Like outside my door you see 2 totem poles.
Yeah.
One of them I designed and I'm carving. The other one I'm repairing for the city of Duncan. And I look at them, and even the repairing is something that's a difficult thing to perceive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at a log and you think, oh, how can I repair that?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to repair it?
Yeah. Like it's like I wouldn't even know where to start when it comes to like repairing.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one for sure.
I think that's about all I can project into it, is that study.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, even with making knives, I spent a couple of years learning,
Mm-hmm.
and I hired a blacksmith.
Where did it last time? Thank you for tuning into this episode of Connecting Cowichan. This episode has been about carving. I am your host, Joseph, and we have special guest Herb Rice, and we will see you next time.